Good afternoon, children. Welcome to Party here. Dear students, we shall discuss about the tribal and nomadic communities. This is chapter 7 of class 7. This chapter will give us a lot of information about the tribal society and the nomadic communities. How did they perform their activities? How did they lead their life? How they survive themselves? All such types of facts are there in this chapter. Let's get it. In the Mahabharata, there is a story of a boy by the name Eklavya who belonged to a tribal community of the Nishadas. They were considered untouchables and were not a part of the Brahmanical caste system. Eklavya was a very good archer and wanted to learn the skills from the great Guru Dronacharya. Do you know what happened to Eklavya and why it happened? Find out about the story and share it with the rest of the class. A story is there mentioned in Mahabharata. There was a boy named Eklavya. He belonged from the tribal community. The community was Nishadas. Nishadas are considered as untouchable and they were not treated as the part of the society in the Brahmanical caste system. He was a very renowned and skilled archer. धनुर्विद्या में बहुत ही महारथी था वो. And he wanted to make his guru to Dronacharya, who was the guru of Pandavas and Kauravas. क्या आप जानते हैं क्या हुआ एकलव्य के साथ? क्यों हुआ? इसको हम इस स्टोरी को शेयर करते हैं और जानते हैं इसको. A number of indigenous and ethnic groups known as tribes were located in different parts of the Indian subcontinent. Their unique societies were usually egalitarian and not divided into classes or castes. They lived in relative isolation, away from the influence of mainstream life and followed their distinct culture, language and religion. Kinship bonds were very important within each tribe. Tribes were composed of clans who traced descent from a common ancestor. Often tribal societies were nomadic. That is, they moved from one place to another in search of food or pasture land. Some tribes would permanently settle down in an area and engage in agricultural production. Usually they combine all these activities to make full use of the natural resources of the area in which they lived. A tribal group controlled land and pastures jointly and divided these amongst the household according to its ruler. Tribal people usually lived away from cities in forests, fields, deserts, and even places difficult to reach. Characteristics of tribal societies in medieval period. Medieval period में क्या characteristics थे इनके जानते हैं. Tribal people adopted different ways to secure a livelihood. Some tribal groups led a nomadic lifestyle as hunter-gatherers and animal herders. They reared animals such as cattle, goat, camel, sheep or horses for their livelihood. Such nomadic pastoralists lived on milk and other products produced by their animals. They exchanged rule, hay, etc. with people in towns and villages for grains, cloth, salt, utensils, etc. Certain pastoral tribes also use primitive technology to practice shifting cultivation. Economically, they were self-sufficient. There were other itinerant groups such as craft persons, small-time peddlers, and entertainers who traveled from place to place, practicing their different occupations. They made and sold wares such as ropes, reed straw, netting, cords, sacks, and iron tools, or work as laborers. Some groups also work as entertainers and perform in different towns and villages. The tribal groups were distinguished by their distinct lifestyle, custom, language, and culture, and consciously preserved the same. Their political system was based upon family or kinship ties and was headed by a tribal chief. While some tribal societies were patrilineal and patriarchal in nature, others like the Garo and Khasis of Meghalaya followed the matrilineal system. The Gonds in the early medieval period, the region around Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and present day Chhattisgarh formed the kingdom of the Kalachuri dynasty. The Kalachuris took tribute from the tribes that resided in this hilly and forested region. The largest among these tribes were the Gonds, after whom this area was often called Gondwana land or country, inhabited by the Gonds. They had probably migrated from the south between the 10th and 12th centuries and were traditionally agriculturists. While some practiced shifting cultivation, others grew cereals, herded cattle, or worked as laborers. Their language was known as Gondi. Administrative history. After the decline of the Kalachuris in and around the 13th century, several Gond chieftains established independent strongholds in southern and western parts of the Kalachuri kingdom. The capitals of the Gond chiefs were usually built near a hill or a river and were located at Devgarh, Kerala, Mandala, and Chanda. The large palaces, forts, and walled cities stand as a reflection of the immense power and wealth of the Gond tribe. They paid occasional tributes to the Mughals and managed to maintain their independence fairly well. Often the Gond chiefs assumed Rajput titles in an attempt to be recognized as Rajputs. The Akbarnama mentions One such Gond kingdom of Gadha Katanga, which comprised 70,000 villages and had a well-structured administrative system. The kingdom was divided into Gads and each was administered by a particular clan. The Gadhas were divided into units of 84 villages known as Chaurasis, which were further subdivided into Barhots. Queen Durgavati, the Gond ruler of Gadha Katanga, Aman Das, assumed the title of Sangram Shah. He also tried to expand his territories through matrimonial alliances. Dalpat Sangram Shah's son married Princess Durgavati, the daughter of Shalvahan, the Chandel Rajput rulers of Mahoba. Dalpat Shah died in 1548 century, leaving behind a minor son, and Rani Durgavati assumed the reins of government in her hands. A feisty and courageous ruler, she was instrumental in initiating many projects for the welfare of the people. That's all. The rest we shall discuss tomorrow in the next video. Till then, you do your work, learn the question answer. Thank you.